What if the greatest act of love was also the perfect crime? What if a genius, a true once-in-a-generation mind, used every bit of his brilliance, not to solve equations, but to erase a murder? Today, we're breaking down the devotion of Suspect X, chapter by chapter. A psychological chess match, a tragedy disguised as a detective story, and one of the most devastating endings in modern crime fiction. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The Murder. Our story begins with Yasuko Hanaoka, a single mom barely hanging on. New job, new apartment, trying to rebuild life for herself and her daughter, Misato. But the past doesn't knock. It kicks the door in. Her abusive ex-husband, Togashi, shows up, drunk, angry, violent. A struggle erupts. Panic takes over, and in a moment that feels like destiny breaking apart, Togashi ends up dead on the floor. Yasuko is frozen. Misato can't breathe. And then, there's a knock on the door. It's Ishigami, the quiet math teacher next door, a man who barely speaks, yet sees everything. He takes one look inside, and something switches inside him. "Let me take care of this." And that's the moment the real story begins. Chapter 2. Enter Ishigami. Ishigami gets to work with an unnerving level of calm. He moves the body, plans the alibi, calculates the timeline. Every choice is precise, clinical, almost beautiful in its logic. To anyone else, this is a disaster. To him, it's a math problem. We learn who he really is. A genius so brilliant the world couldn't keep up. A man suffocated by loneliness, living in silence, routines, and mathematical formulas, until Yasuko became the only light in his life. Protecting her isn't a favor, it's his purpose. Chapter 3. The detectives arrive. When the police discover the body, something's off from the very beginning. Too few clues, too convenient details. Too clean. Detectives Kusanagi and Kishitani can't explain it, but they feel it. Someone is controlling the board, and they're already late to the game. Chapter 4. Galileo returns. Enter Professor Yukawa, nicknamed Galileo, physicist. Genius, human lie detector. The second he hears the suspect's name, Ishigami, he freezes. This isn't just anyone. This is the only person Yukawa ever considered an equal. Yukawa knows immediately. If Ishigami is involved, the crime won't be simple, and the investigation just became a duel. Chapter 5. The net tightens. The police question Yasuko. Her story lines up. A bit too perfectly. But every time she hesitates, every time doubt creeps in, Ishigami is already there. Having rehearsed every possible scenario, one thing becomes clear. Yasuko isn't lying because she's skilled. She's lying because Ishigami has engineered her truth. Chapter 6. The alibi. The detectives test distances, times, routes. Everything Yasuko says checks out. But Yukawa sees the real pattern. This isn't luck, this is design. And he begins to understand something horrifying. Ishigami didn't just hide the crime. He reshaped it. Not a cover-up, a reconstruction. The kind only a mathematician could invent. Chapter 7. Inside the Mind of a Genius. This chapter takes us deeper into Ishigami's life. And it's bleak. Tiny apartment, no decorations, same food every day, no friends, no joy. Just numbers. Endless, beautiful, cold numbers. But Yasuko, the simple act of hearing her voice through a wall, gave him something resembling hope. So when the moment came, he didn't hesitate. Saving her meant saving the only warmth he had left. Chapter 8. Yasuko's Guilt. As days go by, Yasuko begins to understand the truth. Ishigami isn't helping. He's sacrificing. And she is now trapped inside a maze he built, a maze designed to protect her, but also bind her to him forever. Every lie adds weight. Every police visit tightens the noose. Yasuko starts to suffocate. Chapter 9. First cracks. The police hit their first inconsistency, tiny but impossible to ignore. Yukawa visits Yasuko, not as a physicist, not as a detective, but as someone who wants to understand Ishigami. And he sees it, the fear behind her eyes. Whatever Ishigami did, she's not okay with it. The truth is coming. Chapter 10. Logic has a beauty and a dark side. Yukawa tries to decode Ishigami's motive. No benefit, no reward, no twisted desire, just pure devotion. But devotion without boundaries is obsession. And as Yukawa analyzes the case mathematically, he realizes the horrifying truth. Ishigami didn't hide the body. He created a decoy crime, a perfect fake scenario, a solution only a mathematician could invent. Chapter 11. The Showdown. Then comes one of the novel's greatest scenes, Yukawa confronting Ishigami. The room is quiet. The air is heavy. Yukawa tells him, "I know." Ishigami doesn't react. He simply watches Yukawa, like a man watching someone solve a puzzle he wrote years ago. Two geniuses, two moral codes, one inevitable tragedy. Chapter 12. The Breaking Point. Yukawa does the one thing Ishigami could never anticipate. He visits Yasuko and tells her the entire truth. The real plan, the decoy body, the sacrifice, the genius behind it all. Yasuko breaks down. The guilt crushes her. Ishigami wanted to carry the burden alone, but in doing so, he gave her an even heavier one. And finally, she confesses. The equation shatters. Chapter 13. The Devastation. When Ishigami hears the news that Yasuko told the truth, he collapses. Not physically, emotionally. For the first time, he cries. Not because he's caught, but because Yasuko suffered, because she was forced to face the pain he tried so desperately to erase. He offered his life for her, his freedom, his genius, everything. And in the end, he still couldn't save her. He overestimated logic. He underestimated the human heart. The real meaning of the story. The devotion of Suspect X isn't just a detective story. It's a tragedy, a study of loneliness, a warning about love without boundaries. Ishigami isn't a monster. He isn't a hero. He is heartbreakingly human. A man who found something worth living for and destroyed himself protecting it. And that's the terrifying beauty of this novel. In the end, the smartest man in the room loses everything, because even genius can't solve the equation of the human heart.